welcome back. And we're moving into our first conversation for this morning as we talk about the ABCs of Entrepreneurship. Of course, this is a publication that was produced by Donna and she's with us here this morning.
Good morning.
And joining her as well is the president of the Belize Center for Training and Development, Danalyn Myvett. Good morning and
Good
welcome.
morning. Good morning. Great being here.
Oh, definitely. I love the vibrancy. And then again, you've got Danalyn and Donna.
Yes.
Two D's.
Two D's. But, you know, one of the things, the word that stands out, especially for the younger folks of Belize, is this entrepreneurship. And a lot of folks, of course, thinking about venturing off into it. There's also a scare tactic to it because of what happens when it comes to being an entrepreneur. But let's jump on into it. The ABCs of Entrepreneurship. What about it? How did it come around? Don?
Okay. Well, I wrote the book primarily because in its format that it's in, which is part story. The first part is story. The second part is more textbooky because I find a lot of kids don't like to read very much. So I try to, you know, they say the textbooks are dry and boring.
Oh.
So I tried to make it into a story so they would read it. Then I discovered that my son, who was doing Principles of Business, he still wouldn't read it. But, you know, they're into YouTube and they're into watching videos.
Yeah.
So that's why I turned it into a video series, primarily to capture that market.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Now, how do you take the lessons of entrepreneurship and the necessary skills and put it into a story format?
Well, it's quite easy because it's very real life.
Yeah.
The story is a girl who left university and couldn't find a job. So she was challenged, are you going to try to keep looking for a job or are you going to start your own business?
Yeah.
So I've used that, you know, plot to go through all the things that she went through and to teach about entrepreneurship along the way and how to start your own business.
How long ago have you put the thought together for this book? And is it being implemented elsewhere? And what are the words from folks?
Well, I launched the book in Belize actually in
Yes.
2015.
Nice.
And yes, and the video series is only now coming out. I've had some showings and I've had really good feedback because, because our people are engaged with watching the videos and I've had some really positive impact.
It seems entrepreneurship has is of great significance to you. How do you feel about it?
Well, that's my passion because I came up in the business environment. I was an accountant, but I gave up that and started my own business. I became an entrepreneur, doing my own thing. So, and my heart is to see women in particular, but all people start their own businesses, become entrepreneurial, innovative, and do new things. Especially in the region, we need that desperately.
Yes. So tell us a bit, Danalyn. Obviously, this is also right up your alley in terms of talking about women and entrepreneurship. And tell us about the work that you do together.
Well, actually, it was such a wonderful opportunity in 2015 when Donna and I collaborated in her being able to launch it here in
Yes.
Belize. But overall, we have such clear, synchronized values in regards to what we would want to see in our own entrepreneurial undertaking. We so value the development of the Caribbean, the development of women in our own right, in our individual countries. We do so much work in those areas. So immediately upon the release of the series, I said to Donna, we got to get you to Belize. And we were so very excited, particularly me, when she was like, yes, I intend to travel the Caribbean. And I said, well, Belize got to be your first stop. And so I orchestrated things so that Belize became the first stop that she is, you know, making her tour to bring the series to the market. So I'm very excited about that.
So you mentioned that your son was a part of the catalyst for you to venture into doing a video series. Was this something that you had in your mind from you were writing the book, or it really just materialized after?
It materialized. I had planned to write the book, and then I did some research actually and discovered that a lot of people like to watch videos, which we know.
Yeah.
But I thought they would still read the book, and some people do still read it, but he didn't. So I said, well, you know what? I need to find a way to capture that interest.
Yeah.
And he's actually watched some of the series. So that works.
Success.
Yeah. Yes.
And the process of moving towards the production of the videos. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it was a challenge because, of course, you know, it costs money to produce a video. So I just stepped out in faith. I really did. We got script writers, video producers, etc., and we all started with $0 behind this thing. Everybody just did it in faith, and I got funding because I was able to sell the concept.
Yes.
And from there, it just everybody's now, you know, adapted it, and it's going well.
That's a very simplified process of production that you explained there.
Of course.
And coming from this business, we know it's a lot more complicated than that. So you had script writers. Let's break that part down. Now you have a story already prepared.
Yes.
And oftentimes your vision and a script writer's vision, they don't always fall in line. Talk to us about how you were allowed to give input to ensure that the essence of what you wanted the story to tell still remained.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was so true because, well, the scriptwriter actually added a lot to it because my story was just getting the principles out there. And then he came along and he put in the drama. So there's quite a lot of drama in it. So it's entertainment. But we always conferred to make sure the principles were there. And once the principles were there, I'm happy to give him freedom, yes, to get creative.
And your actors?
Some are professional, some are student actors, and some are people who just could act. Actually, my lead, she's not an actress by profession or anything, but she just has a natural ability. So I was very happy that having her on the cover of the book, I could
And
translate her
she's
into.
Where was it shot?
In Barbados.
Oh,
Yes.
excellent,
Yes.
excellent. You know, one of the things that I, just thinking about it, you actually break down a book and put it into a video series, which of course definitely hits home for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Reason being is because you actually get to watch how an entrepreneur actually rise from the bottom.
Yes.
One of the things that also stand out for me, and this is besides the entire series or the video production, Tessa takes the challenge. What are the challenges of being an entrepreneur, being that you're one yourself?
Okay. Well, I think one of the biggest challenges a lot of us face in the Caribbean is the fact that our parents expect us to have a job. So that's the first challenge to overcome, to tell your parents or whatever, I'm going to go after this business. And then the challenges are also things like just perseverance when you fail, because we have to fail. We fail, it makes you an entrepreneur, and just persevering through failure. Obviously, getting your product to market, and that comes from networking, exactly, and getting to know people so you can get your product out there. So, I mean, there are various challenges, but they all can be overcome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sure you've read the book and perhaps even seen the series. How much of what we see Tessa go through in the startup phase is realistic or applicable in Belize?
I mean, most of it, because it just mirrors all of what one goes through when it comes to doing a business. What is your business concept? Will it be taken? And what is the value you bring? I mean, if we even dovetail that into the series exactly, we get to look at Donna in her own entrepreneurial space, taking an innovative form to bring her product to the market. I mean, so actually Donna herself is displaying innovation in terms of taking the dramatized series approach to bring her product to market. And that is just very symbolic of how do we bring our product, our service from a differentiated perspective to bring it to market, that it has value for a particular market niche. And so it's on so many levels, this multiply some of the challenges that entrepreneurs face. Oftentimes we think that we want to come to market, we want to bring a product, but then the question that I, for example, in my space, as I'm doing facilitation and training in business, I would say, so what's the value you will bring? What will make you stand apart? What's the difference from your other competitors? So the book is so much a part of her navigating through that as well, and then the various hurdles she has to overcome.
Now, you said you eventually got funding for the series. Who were you able to get to fund the videos, and what was your particular pitch?
Well, we were able to do a short, almost like a trailer before. So that was very powerful to show. When you can show somebody what you've got.
Once they see
proof
it,
of concept.
Yes.
And then our Barbados Investment Development Corporation, they were very big funders in it because they believe in it. They are for our entrepreneurs. And I got some advertising revenue from Caribbean Export. So at the end of every video, you'll see a little thing about Caribbean Export and what they're doing in the Caribbean. And then we have another organization called YES, the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, who also contributed.
So this is primarily for a younger audience?
Well, no. Although the actors are young, it is for everybody because the principles remain regardless of who the actors are. So there might be people who've lost their jobs or who've retired and are looking to start something new, and it's just as applicable for them.
There are many a times, especially speaking to people who love to read books, they would say, the juice of a story is inside the book. It's not in the video production, or it's not in the movie. What is the comparison when it comes to both? When it comes to the book and the video, the actual series?
I have to say, I prefer the video. I'm a book reader.
All right.
I am a reader.
Never says that.
I'm a reader, but as I said, my script writer, he just took it to another level because I was very just basic, cut and dry, just get the principles out there. But he brought in all the drama of failing and going through rejection by friends and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I really like the video series.
Okay, so he added more of a social layer into the story itself.
Yes.
That's great.
You did say here, though, it is actually just the startup phase. So what do we have planned? Because something is in there, and I'm seeing this. What are your other plans? Because it seems that you've got things going on.
Playing here, some thoughts just started coming to my head. The two more phases. Obviously, the growth phase, because once you get started up, there are the challenges of growing your business. Because I find that in the Caribbean, many women don't grow their businesses to very large. They become like very startup still, or remain in that phase. Mm-hmm. So the next phase will be the growth phase of the business, and then finally the mature phase. Mm-hmm. Thank you. What she'll do when she gets to have to hire employees and that kind of thing. So yes, two phases.
Yes. Now, what is the primary lesson? If somebody watches these videos or reads the book, what is the primary lesson that you want people to understand about the startup phase of becoming an entrepreneur? And this is from both of you, of course.
For me, what I would say on the get-go is believing in oneself is so essential, because as you get bombarded with various challenges or those around you saying, are you sure this is what you want to do? If you're not very convinced yourself about what it is you are intending to do, you can very quickly move into a space of uncertainty. Should I be an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. And so to me, one of the values that I see so strongly embedded in there is staying the course, which is extremely important for anybody getting into entrepreneurship, because let's get real, entrepreneurship is not easy.
Oh, wow. No, absolutely.
It's definitely not easy. And one of the things that, especially here at home, that we see a lot, and people would eventually make mention of, I don't want to start a business because when you do, people steal my idea. There was a trainer. What is this like for you, and what are some of the comments that you hear from folks who want to venture off into business?
There is always that concern up and forward that generally entrepreneurs would say, if I am innovative, will it be taken? I mean, we can ourselves see so many times can think about the coconut water along the highway, and now it's just littered with it, right? But a lot of the times, it is not about your idea being so unique, because believe you me, you think of something, somebody else somewhere in the world has thought of it before. Mm-hmm. Success lies more in the execution than in the novelty of the idea. Mm-hmm. I mean, very rarely do you see an industry-breaking idea come along. When you think of things like the internet, they are once in maybe 50 years, etc., that these kind of real novel idea come along that no one has ever brought to market before. Mm-hmm. But to be successful, it's 95% execution and 5% a different idea.
Wow.
Yeah, that is true.
That's deep.
No, Donna, and the consistency that comes with it as well, not losing that focus. Yes. I liked it. You spoke about the copycat effect, because you're right. Some people are very concerned. I'll start it. Somebody else will do it. They'll do better than I do. They'll have more startup capital than I do to make it better. But differentiating is so important. And perhaps I think how important is it for you to advise new entrepreneurs to seek mentors or to get advice? A lot of people want to do it on their own. They feel like, they're going to figure it out. They go into challenge after challenge after challenge, and they overcome it. But how important is it?
It's crucial.
Yeah.
I have a whole video on the whole mentorship, because especially in the early stages, in fact, I still have a mentor because, we're always evolving and we need people to bounce ideas off. And a mentor will really help to keep you going, encourage you, network you with people they know, get you in places that you need to get. So it is really crucial to have a mentor as you go into business.
Definitely.
What should you be looking for in a mentor?
Somebody who is committed to you, who cares about your idea and you, and who has the time to be available to do it? Because mentoring is usually voluntary. You don't
Yes.
pay.
Yeah.
You don't pay a mentor.
Yeah.
And somebody who is positive and encouraging. You don't want a mentor who's just depressing and who will put down your idea and so on. So really, somebody, it could be in your field. It doesn't have to be, but somebody who has business experience already that they can share to you.
You know, just from what we're discussing, Donna, you know, it's definitely proven that you've done a lot of work, a lot of homework into this. But I want to know about the aggression of young people throughout the Caribbean in terms of being an entrepreneur. Have you seen this, especially following the production?
I think we are work in progress. What we have done in Barbados is we had something called the $20 challenge, where we go into schools and we challenged the kids to start a business, come together, and you bring the $20 together and start businesses.
Yeah.
And it took a while to take. You know, it takes a while to take things in. But what we found is that the kids are now more willing to do it. And when they have gone through and done their own business, they realize, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
So it's a whole culture change, a whole mindset change that needs to happen for our young people to be more aggressive and to think more entrepreneurially. But we are working on it. I'm sure you're doing the same in Belize.
Yeah, a big part of the challenge with young people is understanding that it's not an overnight success. You know, the immediacy that oftentimes your youth want to demand. You know, I am in there and within a year, I'm blinging because I have this big successful business.
Then I don't have to slave at the business anymore. I have staff.
Yeah, and you know, oftentimes their impatience in recognizing the time it takes to grow a business. I mean, even in the principles of business itself, one is expecting 3 years at the very least, unless again your idea is so novel that and the market is so desperately in need of it that the moment you come out, boom, you're a success. It's about a lot of plodding and staying focused, as we've said earlier, and doing it over the long haul. Young people, just naturally, you know, being youthful, you want things now and more immediate and in large numbers. And so that is a part of what the youth have to learn, you know, that it's really about working hard. In the Women Entrepreneurship Program that we're doing here in Belize currently, the World Bank funded WINK AP, we had a mentor, a relatable role model came in to speak, and you know, she said to the ladies, entrepreneurship for me in growing this business that's so successful was about breaking my back. And I will never forget that, you know, breaking your back. And so our youth have to get that understanding, you know, you have to work hard.
So, is it that we can teach people to be entrepreneurs, or do they have to be naturally inclined to be self-sufficient?
People always ask that, and I always remember that quotation that says, some are born great, some achieve greatness. So I apply that to entrepreneurship. Some are born entrepreneurs, but some achieve entrepreneurship, and some have entrepreneurship thrust upon them. And that's when you may have lost your job, and you suddenly realize, I have to start a business, and something will kick in. And I think you can be taught certain principles. It's great if you're born with that, but I think you can be taught. And as you go through the experience, you realize, you know, I can innovate. I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I thought I was going to be an accountant. I was an accountant. And now I'm doing this, so it is possible.
How important is dialogue in terms of having your own business and being an entrepreneur? Reason for that is because just browsing through, there are a lot of dialogue in this book, which is to me, very important, especially in terms of meeting new people. How important is it to dialogue?
Absolutely essential. I think there's a lot of hiding behind social media nowadays and being at your computer, and it really is important to get out there and meet people. We were talking about this yesterday, getting into even volunteering in organizations or just networking, speaking to people. That's how you learn what's going on in the region, what funding is available, who's doing what. That's how you learn. So I think it's crucial that you need to dialogue.
You know, and I asked that question because a lot of the times we tend to want to hide behind, like you said, social media, or we're so afraid to approach other people to ask questions, to find out about their success or what it is like to be successful. What about partnership and entrepreneurship? How important is it?
I'll let you answer that, Danalyn, because you're partnering right.
For me, partnership is just part and parcel of the whole collaborative move in terms of growing your business, and it's so essential for us in the Caribbean because we most times don't have the resources to do it all on our own. And so oftentimes I see, for instance, I was sharing not so long ago with the ladies again in the group that I work with very clearly that we would say, I don't have the finance to do X, Y, Z. And I said, you know, listen, many times we can overcome some of the hurdles of lack of finance, by looking at what other available resource we have to make things happen. I mean, you know, you can find someone who would be willing to do some barter trade to get certain things going, and it works so well. For instance, if I share this particular example in the group right now, we have a web design developer in our group, and in that group there is somebody else who put out something that she wants, and so immediately when they came together, they realized, well, I can develop your website and you give me the other things that I need for my business. So there are other ways we can move strategically, and partnering is how we can overcome lack of finance quite often.
Connections are important.
Definitely.
Does the startup phase include learning how to network? Because we don't always learn that skill
Oh,
either.
that's a oh my
Yes,
gosh.
it definitely is. There's talk about that, especially within the mentorship episode, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So not only have you created this dramatized series, you've brought it to Belize, and you have found or connected with a potential partner here. Tell us about the work with the Principals Association.
Well, it was so, you know, I was sitting in November and I went to Antracon, and then there was a segment on education, and the panelists were challenged with how is the education system responding to the need for entrepreneurs to be developed as a mindset and building it into a curriculum, etc. And the president of the Belize Association of Principals was one of the panelists there, and it had just been, I think, divinely ordered, because Donna had only just launched the series. So the moment he got off stage, I just went and, you know, I grabbed him and I said, you know, I believe there is an opportunity that has just been birthed that can support what it is that needs to be done in terms of raising the interest and getting our youth engaged, especially at the high school and junior college and university level, you know, so that they can be exposed to other ways of learning theory, as Donna said earlier, rather than its dry format. And so immediately he was on board, and I said, well, you know, when are you meeting? When do you meet? And that was how it's all born. And it has just been fantastic the way they have responded to saying, let us look at this as another way as to how we can move in the education sector.
So they're looking at potentially using it as a teaching tool.
Yes, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Supplementary.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't cover everything, but it's a supplementary teaching tool.
Yeah. At least take some time during the week to focus on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Yeah. And what age grade, what grade do you think it would be best suited for?
I actually started looking at some of the syllabuses, like the principles of business, the management of business, so CAPE, entrepreneurship, and up to university level. So it covers all those areas. Okay. And I think it's done in a way that it kind of transcends age, really, because as I said, although they're young actors, it can be primary school even, and up to older people.
Yeah. If you're mid-career and you want to become an entrepreneur, you're at that phase as well.
Absolutely.
So, where can people see the videos now?
Well, right now it's online. It's donnaevery.com /ABC, or is that backslash? So you can go in there and you can do a free trial. So you can have a little taste and see if you like it, and then go from there.
Okay.
Wow.
The wonderful thing about what Donna has done as well is that there is also the teaching support
Yes.
component to what she has done as well, so it can very well be a part of the kitty that lecturers and teachers use as part of the supplemental for using this series. So that is really good because the support is there as well from that perspective.
Okay. Well, from what we're seeing, actually, from just the clips that I'm seeing, there's also a little bit of love in it. I can see
a little bit of romance.
a little bit of romance in it as well, which, of course, plays a very important part in dialogue, in networking, and, of course, in the confidence building leading up to business, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
relationships life is about relationships and connections, you know. I really believe in the fact that as people we are just birthed to connect, you know. When you're isolated, you're not as well rounded, and you know, so connection is what life is about once you're here.
President, Belize Center for Training and Development. How can we get training? Where do we find you, Danalyn? Tell us about that.
You can also get me online. As a boutique consulting firm, we are more online. I can be found at bctd.bz, which is the website through which you can connect with me. I'm also on Facebook And so my office is located in Ladyville, downstairs of where I live. So I'm very much there, but I find that overall businesses are responding to online presence.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really good to have a presence online. So for entrepreneurs, I want to say as well, get online, because we are still believing bricks and mortar is the only way to start, but that is not so today.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Donna, of course, your story is fascinating. I think looking from moving out of accounting, venturing into an entrepreneur. Now you're an author. Now you are essentially still the author behind a dramatized series.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
So many things going on. As I said, the next two, not only books for the next two phases of this, but series. I want to make them dramatized as well. I'm still writing as well, and we're doing the World Bank thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and it's all exciting. This is going to be an awesome year, I believe.
Yes. Maybe we have a Belizean lead in the second version, right?
We do have Caribbean people in the area, because I really want to be Caribbean, so we'll have to have a seat.
We'll pull somebody right out of your program.
You come here and film.
Yes.
Do some filming here.
All right.
And what would you say from both your experiences as women who are entrepreneurs, what lesson would you like other young women or women who are venturing into entrepreneurship for the first time, what would you want them to know about the process?
As Danalyn said, it's not overnight.
Yeah.
It does require a lot of time, effort, and perseverance, but it is doable.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that it's doable. At the end of this show, I think it says anybody can be an entrepreneur, and I really believe that.
Of course. All right.
From my perspective, one of the things I want to say is be ready for your moment of opportunity. Oftentimes, we do not recognize, people love to say we are lucky. Oprah Winfrey says many times, and the first time I heard it was through her mouth, I don't know if it's original to her, that luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
So I say be ready, which means get involved in developing yourself.
Yes.
We are so not willing, I have found, to invest in our own development and recognize that growing a business means not only the technical side of being in there and working, but stepping back to look, where do I want to go? So working on the business and not just in the business.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
And where can people get the book in Belize if they still want to hold on to a copy, highlight, fold the pages, smell the book?
Danalyn will be the person who will be able to get them.
To source it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, best of luck. And of course, as you said, the video series, there's a sample that people can view on your website, donnaevery.com. And of course, if people are interested in training, they can find you online as well, right? And
Very much so.
The webpage is?
bctd.bz.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent.
We're going to go ahead and take a break now, and when we come back, we'll be talking to representatives of the Volleyball Association of Belize.